Hey guys, this is Sam. I'm going to walk you through how to do a walk cycle with your character that you painted. You're going to start with your character in the middle of the scene. You should make sure that when you click on this circle, the translate X, Y, and Z, rotate X, Y, and Z, and master scale are all, well, translate X, Y, and Z, rotate X, Y, and Z are at 0, and master scale is at 1. The first thing we want to do is set up the character to start its walk cycle with 1 foot in front and 1 foot behind. And they should be equal distances from the center of the grid. So I'm going to start with my right foot in front. So when I click on this NURBS controller down here, and I have my move tool on by pushing W on the keyboard, as you can see, I can move that foot a little bit forward. And I want to work with nice clean numbers, so what I did was pull it a little bit forward, and it's like right around 2 looks like as far as I want to stretch this. So I'm going to go up to Translate Z and highlight that and just type in 2. So since we started with the right foot in front, we're going to put the left foot in back. And since we know the right foot is 2 spaces in front of the center of the grid, we're going to put the left foot at -2, so it's an equal distance from the center. Okay, I don't really need my outliner at this moment, so I'm going to get it out of the way. Okay, so right now we're going to be doing this in a pose-to-pose animation style, so that means we're going to start with the basics, just the feet sliding forward, and he's going to be walking in the positive Z direction. So first thing we want to do is put keyframes on these feet in the translate Z direction. So what you'll do first, and we also, one thing I would like for you all to do is change these 2 numbers to 0 down here, because it's important that we start at 0 for this to work. So with your time slider at frame 0, go ahead and with your right foot controller selected, right click on Translate Z and click Key Selected. And then we're going to do the same thing for the left foot there. All right. I am going to make this cycle 24 frames. That's how long it will take him to do 1 full cycle of his walk. And so that is 2 steps. So he will take 1 step in 12 frames and then another step in 12 more frames. And that'll be 1 full cycle. And then what we'll do after that is loop the cycle and he will continue to walk. So let's next go to frame 12. And at this point we want the left foot to move forward and the right foot to stay where it is. So what we can do is, since we know the right foot is going to stay there, we're just going to go ahead and keyframe that. So right click on Translate Z, hit key selected. And then we will take this foot and put it 4 spaces in front of the right foot, because that's how far apart they were from each other in the first position. So that'll be at 6. Don't worry, his body will move forward also in just a second. All right. So now, as you can see, we need to address the body so that his full body keeps up with his feet while he's walking. All right. Make sure this is the one. Yes, this is the one. Okay. So your body control is this circle right here. So go ahead and click on that to select it. And at frame 0, we know he is going to be right there. So let's click key selected on Translate Z. And on 12, we want his body to be halfway in between his 2 feet. So halfway between 2 and 6, he will be at 4. Make that 4. While you're doing this, it's very important that you keep these numbers clean so that this will work in the end. Okay, so that's one full slidey step. Let's do that one more time. So we will go to frame 24. This time what we'll do is take the right foot and move it to 4 spaces in front of the left foot. So the left foot is at 6, so we will need the right foot to be at 10. Yeah. And then let's go ahead and make sure the left foot is keyed at frame 24 as well. And then let's go ahead and move the body to halfway between those two. That'll be at 8. Okay, now let's see what we've got. Great. So the next thing we want to do with this character is make it so that his feet actually lift when he takes a step. So let's go back to frame 0. For this part, we're going to be working in Translate Y. So let's click on that. Ignore the body controller for now. We're just going to be working with the feet for this part. So we know that when he is at this point in his step, that both of his feet should be on the ground. So at 0, 12, and 24, we can go ahead and key those frames. So right click on Translate Y, hit key selected for both feet. Go to 12. Both feet. 24. Click. Make sure both feet are keyed. So now all we have to do is halfway between 0 and 12, whichever foot is moving is going to lift off the ground. So let's see what looks good here. We're going to move the left foot up because that's the one that is passing. Maybe about 1 looks good. Let's do that. Hit 1. All right, we've got a keyframe there, so that's good. And then we want to do the same thing on the other foot at frame 18. Okay. Now I'm going to check on something real quick and make sure that his body position is in the right place. Aha. Okay. Okay. So everything looks good here. So the next thing we want to do is give our character a little life while he's walking. Oops. So I'm going to click on the body control. And we want to give him kind of like a little bounce as he walks so he's not just looking like a robot walking. So what we want to do for this body control is similar to the feet. At the points in the walk where his feet are resting on the ground, we can go ahead and key this body controller at translate Y0 for frame 0, 12, and 24. So let's go ahead and do that. All right. Now let's go to frame 6, and we're just going to lift his body up a little bit. Let's do 1 might be a lot, but let's see what that looks like. 1. And then click on 18 and do the same thing. Let's see what that looks like. Cool. So he takes a couple bouncy steps. The next thing we can do with this guy is make it so that his body sort of moves side to side as he's walking, or tilts side to side. So what we want is to have the body control selected, and we want the rotate tool on. So that would be E on your keyboard. So same thing again, let's go to, let's see first of all which axis he's on. Oh, let's see. Okay, hold on. Rotate Z. Okay. Yes. So we just want to be working in rotate Z for this. So click on rotate Z in your channel box. And then on frame 0, when his feet are on the ground, he's going to be centered. So let's click on key selected for rotate Z at 0 and at 12 and at 24. And now let's go to 6 and let's see which foot is passing right now. So while his left foot is passing, he's probably going to tilt a little bit to the right to balance himself a little bit. So let's go ahead and see how much we want to tilt him. I think 10 looks good, so let's do that. 10, and then so on 18, we'll just do the opposite of that. So click on frame 18, and then click on rotate Z and type in -10. There we go. Now let's check it out. Great. That's pretty cute. The next thing we can do is work on the arms. So decide where we want these arms to go. Let's see. E. That's just a hand. Oh, I can see. The arm controller is kind of hidden, it looks like. Up there. Is that it? It is. We don't want to click on these bones, I believe. Okay.